Hello, Renee Flamont here. We need to talk about no contact again and its spectrum. I know that there are a lot of new people that I've been talking to in the audience, and I know you're just some of you going through the discard right now, the initial discard, which my warriors out there can probably uh, remember their first indiscretion or discard with their narcissist. By the way, new people, warriors, I call, we have audience members that have been in this for 30 years and they're still kicking. They're alive and kicking, and they're warriors. And they probably remember. There's nothing like that first betrayal or discard or the moment when you realized this is completely not what I thought. It's traumatic. It's very, very, very traumatic. When you talk about no contact, that is because the research is trying to prevent that from continually happening to you. That initial discard. And like I said, there's some of you new people that are going through a discard now, a breakup now, trying to stay away. The videos, unequivocally, there's a lot of things that they have in common, and this is one topic where they all agree. No contact, leave, never turn back, don't talk to them again, ever again, never again, never again. In every way possible, which we're going to get to in a second. I tried every single way around what the research tells you to do. We'll just try to be friends. We'll just do this. I'll just talk to him once in a while. I'll just block him but text only, or whatever. I went through everything, which I'll tell you in a second. But I went around everything, and then I landed on the research is right. It is the best way to go. No contact. Now, there are steps sometimes, okay? It took me a year to get to complete no contact. A lot of back and forth, blocking, not blocking, just a lot of back and forth. I had a girlfriend who went from 100 to 0 in one day. Never looked back. Never. She was in the relationship for 6 years. She decided it was over. Finally, 6 years, that's a warrior. And that's a long time. She finally decided, nope. Left the relationship, shut the door, and wouldn't listen to a word he tried to say. He would text, message, phone message, everything. And I've mentioned this before. I would be like, how can you not answer him? I don't even understand. This was years ago. And she just knew. We didn't talk about the word, but she knew. She said, there's no reason why I should answer him. There's nothing that's going to come of it that's good. Only what's going to come of it is negative. And I just know that nothing I say means anything. It never mattered when I was with him. There was 6 years that he could have listened. Like, she just knew everything. She just knew. It's taken me a long time to realize the research is correct. And and that is because with every single reconnection begins a new cycle. That's what I learned about why the no contact. When you are, you're in a breakup. I'm done. Click, and you both are done for a while. Then he starts calling you back. My pronoun is he. Feel free to insert your own pronoun. Starts calling you back, you take him back. You've just opened up a new cycle. Think of it that way, okay? Now, their cycle involves what? Love bombing. Okay, so they just did it to you again. They got you back. What comes after love bombing? We've already talked about it, didn't we? It's all going to come again. The triangulation, the gaslighting. They're swearing to God it's not, but it's coming. They might even be good for a month. And the eventual discard, and then they'll do it all over again. With more Hoover attempts, sucking you back in. The more times you say yes and open a reconnection, it's like opening a new file. opening a new file, opening a new file, opening a new file. And then every file has to complete its cycle. So that's why they say no contact, because each cycle gets more dramatic. Their love bombing gets more dramatic because they're climbing up a steeper hill because they hurt you again. So their love bombing is more dramatic. And now they know what you can handle. So their devaluation and triangulation and all that, that's going to be more dramatic because they know what you can handle. They're going to top that. Then they're going to drag you through the mud and then hoover you all over again. Now their love bombing is... So it gets more intense. Everything's more intense. They elevate everything. That's why it's more traumatic every time you go back in. That's what I think. How else do you describe it? It's got to be. I know things got more dramatic every single time there was a reconnection. Fights were higher level. Love bombing was higher level. Devaluation was worse and more in front of my face. Right in front of my face. Not in front of my face, but I mean with the phone. Like right. Unapologetic. Because at some point, I'm still thinking, because I'm believing him, that he's in a relationship with me and he's off gallivanting and already checked out. But I'm answering him. I should have maintained no contact and let him gallivanting all around. Right? Because that's what they're doing. When they're trying to contact you, they're already gallivanting. They're just checking the temperature to see if you're still going to answer them. They're not sitting there alone, crying, losing 13 pounds, and missing New Year's Eve. That's a lie. Okay? That's a lie. Okay? They're out. But they're going to check in. They're going to check in. They're going to check in. So they say maintain no contact because it will not allow for opening up a new file, thus opening you up to more hurt. Now, there are many ways that no contact manifests itself. You got the phone. So no contact would be you're blocking them. Blocking. I have an iPhone, so that's blocking. So whatever phone you have, okay? So now when you block somebody on your iPhone, whether or not you know new people, let me be the one to tell you, they can still leave you a message. And you go to voicemail and you go all the way to the bottom, and there's a little way at the bottom. It doesn't exist unless you have a message from a blocked number. If you go all the way to the bottom of your voicemails, there's nothing. There's just the last number. Maybe it's your mother from 6 months ago, but whatever. Under that will show up the words blocked messages, and they can leave a voicemail, even if they're blocked. You won't hear the phone ring, and you wouldn't find that unless you go look for that. The key is to never even want to go look and see if they did leave you a message. That's euphoria when you get there. Because it's natural when you first break up. You're checking your phone. You're checking your phone. Are they going to call? Are they going to call? Are they going to call? That's very, very natural, even if you can't stand them. You want to know that they miss you. You want them to reach out. So you're checking your phone. Eventually, I don't look in my phone now and look for blocked messages. I happen to see the one that I got. I was cleaning out my voicemails, and I got to the bottom, and I'm like, oh. I mean, it wasn't even as soon as it was, because my phone doesn't ring from him. Texting. If you're blocked, the texting can't come through. Now, my IT department is off at college, and I keep forgetting to ask her how to fix, but for some reason, his texts did show up on my iPad. I don't know why that is. So I would go and look at a certain iPad, and I'm like, oh. So there have been a handful of texts, even since he's been blocked. You have to keep these things in mind. They recommend blocking and doing all of this. I went through a phase where I was not blocked, and I thought, it's too much. I'm too curious about if he contacts me. I want to know what he has to say. I don't want to miss if he does try to contact me, even though there were times that I wasn't answering the phone. Long time, but I wanted to know when he did call. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if a text, because the text doesn't come through your phone if they're blocked. So I was like, oh my God. And I couldn't figure out if they know it or not. I think theirs turns green. There's something. I don't know. But I was like, no, I want to know what he's saying. Then you get to a point, no, I don't want to know what he's saying. They're right about no contact. Because that's when you are open for the love bomb. What do you think he's going to say? And the charm would be laid on thick perpetually, week after week. And finally I would break it. And, oh my God, so, da-ba-ba, da-ba-ba. And then you open up a new file. New file. Whereas if you don't have that to see, to get, to receive. And it's hard to resist it knowing that you, because I tried it. I did. I'm not going to block them. I'm just going to not answer them. That was a lot of the time how I did it. And I would do it. I wouldn't answer him, but it was killing me because I would read what he's saying. And I would readily hear the message. Or see that he's calling 30 times in a row. The blocking is just easier. It really is. It's a Band-Aid. You rip it off. And it's saying, I no longer... You can't help if you care that he's trying you. But they know, because when they try you and you're blocked, I think it goes like straight to voicemail or something. Test it with your friends. I did it once. It's like it doesn't even ring or something. They can tell. Although I think the same thing happens if you're on Do Not Disturb or airplane mode. But I'm saying, play with it with your friends so you know what they hear. Because it's been a long time since I did it. But I know blocking's the way to go. You're not disturbed, you're not tempted to feel bad, you're not tempted to swoon over new love-bombing phrases that they might say to you, you're not tempted. Mine even ventured to do email. This was a year ago now, this month, wow. Ventured to do email. Oh yeah, because I wouldn't answer them. A bunch of emails showed up. So they will, or they could all call you from somebody else's phone. They'll get in touch with you if they have a lot, if they have something to say. And it's because they're trying to make you react. Social media is a whole thing that you young people do. I'm not on social media with anyone I've ever dated. That doesn't happen. My Facebook is private. It's for family and friends. I don't have like I guess my Instagram is public, technically. I don't have that private. Any one of you could look that up. So I guess, but I don't date anyone that's on it who would think, oh, let me look up Renee Flamon on Instagram and see what these are grown men I date. They're in their 60s generally, like, none of them are on but I think ironically, yeah, he opened an account now. I thought I saw. I did see. Came up. Suggestions. I didn't think I saw it, but I was like, oh my God, grown man getting on Instagram at age 63. Holy Lord, have mercy. But if you are on with these people, but he doesn't do it. Somebody probably opened it for him. He's not going to find me and know what I'm up to. If you are in the world where you were seeing someone and you were both like following each other and friends with each other or whatever the words are for whatever app it is, that you have to cut out. That I can tell you. Absolutely 100%. There's no other way to do it. And I've tried every way of no contact. I'll admit it. There's a big spectrum. I've done everything. I just said it to you. I've done don't block, don't answer, try to answer and be friends, try to, you know what I mean? Try to use them as a scientific experiment. That's what I told him for a few months there. I'm keeping contact with you because I'm learning and picking your brain. Oh yeah, that was the end of last year. Told him right out. The point is, if you are on social media, though, now they're peering into your life. And I know a girl who can't shake a guy, and her social media guides her posting. I know a lot of you do that. I hardly post anything. The last week I posted a lot just because I was like, there's nothing on there. I should post stuff. Because my friends do, and I don't know, I just thought I was bored and I did it, but I don't think of it. I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this. That's not how I am, even on Facebook. I just hardly post anything. People do it all the time, and they want their activities to show where they are and who they're with, and he's going to see me with this person, and I just saw him with her, and blah, blah, blah. That can do nobody any good. That's part of no contact. When you read about no contact, they're talking about that too. Shut that down. I wouldn't do it even if I were in a relationship with someone. I've never been on social things with them. Friending me on Facebook? No. I've never had that. Like, oh, can I? No. And I would say, I mean, I don't know. That's weird. And it's not that you're being secretive, but your Instagram say that's like your personal space. It doesn't mean you're being shady, but I wouldn't want somebody every single move or word I made. Like I'm with you all the time. You don't need that part of my life. So if that's where you are and you're afraid to shut that down because then you won't be able to stalk them or spy on them, let that go and do that. It makes your life much easier. Back when I was younger, the only way that you could see somebody is you had to drive by their house. The old-fashioned drive-by. That's all you had. There was no social media. There were no cell phones. And if you were young enough, we're talking like high school, college, maybe whatever, the boy might have even still lived with his parents. You're not going to call their phone. It's a landline. Like, you know what I mean? So that's all we had was the drive-by. And you're hoping what? I don't even know what we were hoping. That they're going to walk outside and see our car and yell to us, don't leave me. And I don't know what we thought of. But are we going to ring the doorbell? Are we going to go in? Do you have something to say? And I mentioned this once before, but there's a famous video, I Want to Come Over, by Melissa Etheridge, for you young people. Gwyneth Paltrow stars in it, from the 90s. And that's what it shows. That's all we had. Nowadays, you guys can see what your exes are up to. You can see what they look like. You can bump into them. You can comment. You can make them see that you're commenting. You can do something to get a reaction, all through social media. That is not no contact, and that's not healthy. So you should stop that if that's what you're doing. The only way your narcissist should be able to find you is an accidental, miraculous bump in. That really never happens unless you're in the movies. You know what I mean? I mean, if you go to a place that you know he's going to be and he bumps into you, that's not accidental. The only way my narcissist will ever see my face is if in somewhere in the world, miraculously, we're in the same place at the same time. I know what town he lives in. I'm not interested in going to that town. He doesn't live here anymore. We're not on social media. You know what I mean? He's blocked. So there's no danger of me getting sucked in to having another cycle start. Because he's a massive love bomber. It was always a love bomb. Every single phone call, there was a love bomb. Every single phone call, even when we were fighting. And it can suck you back in and twist on your heart, especially if you're new to this and this is your first discard. Which again, we all remember. Or your first breakup point. Or your first, oh my God, I can't believe I found this out. And the rug was pulled out from under you, and you don't want to go from 100 down to 0 and do no contact for the rest of your life. But I'll tell you something, I watched my girlfriend do it, and it gave her a lot of peace. She closed the door on the 6 years and walked away. No contact is a big spectrum, and there's a lot of personal choices that you have to make for what's best for you. If you are guided by your heart and you're going to listen to things and hear his voice or her voice and it's going to affect you in a bad way, then you got to shut stuff down. You got to shut stuff down. And if you can't go no contact, maybe you have kids with this person. Maybe you have a business with this person. I really put you guys in the warrior category because now you have to figure out a way to communicate. Maybe if it's just parental co-parenting, do everything through email, pickups and stuff. That's a tough one. That's a whole other aspect of this. But do what's best for you, and watching in on their personal life on social media, that's dangerous. But I wish you the best. It's a big, big, big window, and we will talk about this again, because where you land, I'll think of other things that I need to tell you. Young people, please, give this some thought. I know you're hanging on because you want to keep contact open because you're hoping what? He's going to change his mind, come around, you want to be available, and you're hoping he'll change. We talked about that, I think, just last week. I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm not. But you have to think of it in terms of, are they behaving in a way that exhibits that they want you in their life? Do they want you? The answer is probably no. That's why they're doing what they're doing. If they wanted you, they wouldn't be doing it. So do you want to hang out and wait and hold on for someone that doesn't feel the same way? I'm sorry.